Yeah. So we are coming in with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we no rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and
who are you for me to want to be pleasing you? The issue is stop making it about yourself when things go wrong and analysing yourself. And
like, if I'm thinking these things about myself and if I'm talking this way to myself, people must be doing it 10 times worse.
When you also have a mindset of wanting to be in control of things, it makes it twice as worse. We are on a level playing field as humans. You're not better than me. Why am I trying to please you or make you feel completely comfortable? Like, I think when you're an empathetic person and generally a nice person, like, you want to get on with people. You don't want conflicts and not everything. But when it comes to the point of losing who you are, making myself uncomfortable to make yourself uncomfortable, we're not doing that anymore. And I think I just turned 24. I was like, Miranda, you are a big woman. We literally just can't do it anymore. And what have I gained from trying to please all these people? Because when they want to leave, they leave. Or when it comes to something that I need, if they don't want to give it, they don't. So it's like when they've had enough, they just move on. So you know what? When I've reached that point, I have the same right to do it. And I think it goes back to, if I am authentically myself, I will attract the people who need to be in my life. And that's important. The people who are supposed to stay, the people that leave, a lot of the time they're leaving to make room for better people. So like you can never hold on to people too much or care what people think, essentially. There's also something else you were saying, like obviously you've were bullied through high school. One thing that I really believe in is generally happy people. If you're really happy in yourself and you love yourself, you are not going to put someone else down. Honestly, it is the truth. I'm very blessed. Like the girls in my life, my closest friends, they do not put other people down for no reason. Like, and it's because like my friends genuinely like love themselves. And I find that when you don't have, when you have something lacking in yourself, that's when you start picking at other people's faults to somehow uplift yourself. And I think when I started realising that, people saying things about me or saying things about my character that's not true, I'm like, what is wrong with you that's making you project whatever's going on over there onto me? You clearly have something wrong with you. And I think sometimes if you think like that, it's like, you just let it go because it's like, okay, you've got something going on there. But as I said, genuinely happy people that love themselves and love what they've got going on, they do not have time to be putting you down. So it goes back to what I said, you're not better than me. So like, yeah, what's next?
I think, first of all, in relation to like people coming and going, that's another thing that scares me. But it's a quote that my friend told me, and I literally say it to everyone: you can't own people, you can only experience them. People are going to come into your life, whether for a short period or a long period. Some may want to be there forever, some are there for a day or literally a couple hours. Like, but I don't believe in coincidences. Obviously, as a Christian, I feel like everything has a purpose. So whoever I meet on the road, it's for a purpose. And in terms of approval, what do you think causes us to like put people above us, or like not necessarily above us, but what do you think causes us to be like, because you're saying we're all on a level playing field, which is true, but when we look at others, why do we want to please them so much? What makes us think they are better than us? Like,
I think it all just boils down to self-worth and self-esteem. If you've been through experiences like being bullied, every word that someone says, it takes a chip off your self-esteem. It breaks you down as a person. And when you get older, you have to build all of that was taken from other people. You have to build it all by yourself. And that is no mean feat. Like, you should never...
tiring.
Yeah. But you should never think that because, oh, you're not the most confident person, like, you're weak. It takes a while to fill the holes that people took out of you and to rebuild yourself. So, yeah, I do think it boils down to self-worth. If you have low self-esteem, if you don't believe that the things you say have value, then you're always going to question yourself, and you're always going to think, oh, what someone else thinks or says is probably right. And that's something that I've been learning. I think it's kind of hard to explain. It's like, when I used to say things, I would always say things but with a little bit of uncertainty. So like, oh, maybe they think I'm wrong, or I don't know what I'm talking about. And for some reason, I would take what they would say is like held more weight than what I would say, when actually the things that I say are from my experience, and no one can really question that. They may not agree, but they can't question it.
That's true.
So I think that's something that I've learned to do, like trusting my intuition, trusting that my experience and the things that I say do have value, and the things I believe in do have value, that I bring something to the table, whether it's friendships, whether it's at work, romantic relationships. Yeah, just knowing that you do have value, that you bring things to people's lives that they wouldn't have if you weren't there.
That's true. And I think it's also, I think as humans we're very materialistic. I think we look at what other people have, and sometimes they're either things that we want or things that are just in society everyone wants, you know what I mean? Like, I think before you mentioned it earlier, comparison. Comparison really is a major reason of why we're putting people at a higher playing field than us. Like, we see people with that confidence or that louder or bigger personality, or we see people with the better grades, or we see people with, I don't know, better car, better house, better wig than mine, who knows. You see people with things and you're like, wow, like, you're better than me. But what we're seeing is just the face. We're not seeing anything behind that, and I think that's a problem. I think many times we don't get to know people's stories, we don't get to see the struggles, we don't get to
can be successful, and then for some reason you see someone doing a little bit better than you, and everything that you've built or achieved suddenly becomes nothing because someone is doing better than you. Also, comparison is a very superficial way to see things. For example, you see someone in a beautiful relationship, right? They're, you know, engaged, everything's going perfectly, and then, I don't know, say like you're single and you're looking at them and you're like, oh, I wish I would have that. You're in a good place, but because you don't have what they have at that moment, you feel like you're less than. But the thing is, you don't know how much that couple went through to get to that point. You don't know how many breakups they've had, how many heartbreaks, how much relationship counselling they've had to go through to get to that point. Someone with a fancy car, a nicer car than you don't know how much they've had to grind at night in their room, like doing business plans to get to what they get to. So you're comparing your beginning or even your middle to their end result, and that makes no sense. Why are you comparing like your middle to someone's finishing product? You can get there, you can get to your own version of what they have, but you're just at a different point. So comparison doesn't really ever make sense. If you look at it objectively. We all feel it because, you know, we're human and we are subjective beings, we are emotional, and we don't always think as logically as we should. And I guess social media doesn't help. You go on Instagram and you see everyone flexing, putting their best foot forward, and that makes you feel some kind of way when you have no idea what they've been going through that very week, that very morning. So yeah, I don't know if that was kind of what you were trying to get at, but comparison is a thief of joy. We should all stop it.
How do you stop it?
How?
I think for me, when it does come to comparison, I've had to learn to be, what's that word? Gratitude. Have gratitude for what I have now, and try and focus on my good qualities. Sometimes it's very, very hard. As we spoke about in the beginning, self-analysis, sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to focus on the good. Like, I'm a bad person. I look a bad way. I need to pattern that. I don't focus on, I don't know. See, even now, I can't even think of a good thing about myself. Maybe if I sit with it. But thinking about things you do like about yourself that are not physical, but internal, thinking about things that you're grateful for, what you have now, whatever. I think gratitude and appreciation for yourself and for what God has given you really does help.
It does. And I'm going to bring a little bit of medicine into this right now. So I'm currently doing a neurology module, so it's all about like how the brain works, and basically when it comes to memory storage, your brain remembers things that have a higher emotional impact on you.
Can't ball in a